Hello everyone and welcome along to Hampden. Nearly said Ibrox there. Welcome along to Hampden for your immediate post-match reaction from TII as Rangers bow out of the UEFA Champions League qualifiers at the third round stage, losing 2-0 on the night to Dynamo Kyiv. I'm joined by Ross. We sat together and watched the game. What were your initial reflections on the game, Ross?
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's hard to not look at the referee straight away, to be honest with you, and I won't dive too much into it because I'm sure we'll analyse it, but I just think it's a disgraceful decision. I really do, and I think at that point there was a lot for Rangers to do, and unfortunately they've not been able to do it. I think the goals that Dynamo Kyiv have scored come from just having that man advantage. It takes its tolls on the players. Dynamo Kyiv are moving the ball from side to side, as soon as Rangers lost a man, and unfortunately they weren't able to hold out. So yeah, really disappointing not to make the Champions League for another season. I think financially what that could do for the club at this stage would be huge.
Yeah.
So I think immediately I'm a little bit I'm disappointed. Did I really believe that Rangers maybe would have made it there this season based on the squad they have at the moment? Maybe not. You might have seen that in the next tie against Salzburg, but yeah, really disappointed that we went out at this stage.
Yeah, I think, and we're not going to touch on every single point as the game went on. Ross, I felt we were really in a game. First half maybe gave them a wee bit more control in the early stages, but we very much came into it, and I actually felt that we maybe shaded it as being the better team in the first half. Jefte got booked for his first challenge, basically, but then he had a couple more, and you could tell the referee was paying attention to him. I think it's fair to say we spoke about it with a few others at half time in terms of we should probably take him off because that's a real danger, and the referee was very unpredictable, and that kind of came to pass. Did you feel like we were at least giving a good account of ourselves in that opening stages up to the red card?
Yeah, I think it's a strange one to say after a 2-0 defeat, but I actually think Rangers played okay tonight for a Champions League qualifier.
I sorry to interrupt so quickly, but I actually felt like we would have went from strength to strength and went on to win that game for the way we were playing and the way we were growing into the game.
Yeah, I have to say I agree with you. I think, Clement made a really big change at half-time, bringing Václav Černý on. He obviously believed that, the amount of space Ross McCausland was getting in the first half on that right side, he obviously felt like Černý could make more of a difference. Yeah. Maybe a bit harsh on Ross McCausland. I actually think he was quite good in the first half. Maybe still having to add that to his game, the final ball, the bit of quality. But obviously Philippe Clement believed as well there was a real chance to go and win that tie within the first maybe 15-20 minutes of the second half, because it is a risk to bring on Černý. He spoke about that in his pre-match interview where he was talking about, he was advised not to play him from the start tonight. So look, I'm the same as you. I felt Rangers had started to really build themselves into the tie. I think the way the game started, Dynamo Kyiv came here very similar to the home tie and were willing to play from the back, were willing to take risks. But I thought Rangers started to really put them under pressure at points, and they were picking up the ball in dangerous areas. And I think you would have seen more of that in the second half, especially when Kyiv started to tire. We've seen that last week. So yeah, it's really disappointing that once Rangers were getting themselves into that point, the referee has obviously made a really poor decision, and it has cost us. And I'm not really one to jump on referees and try and blame them for everything, but I think tonight it's very difficult not to. Yeah. I think just the way Rangers have played themselves into the game, I think Kyiv were there for the taking. I think that's fair to say. Fair play to them there throughout the next round. They can't do anything about the referee making a poor decision. They go and capitalise, but yeah, I think the game was there for us to be won. Yeah. Unfortunately, we've not been able to do it.
Yeah, I just want to give a special mention to Connor Barron for his performance in that first sort of 50 minutes or so. I thought he took the game by the scruff of the neck. He was everywhere across the middle of that park. He was controlling the tempo of our play, and he was really driving us forward. I thought
even at points under pressure.
Yeah.
He was taking the ball under pressure, and we've seen it at times with midfielders in that area where they might try and play a square ball, or they might try and play it to a fullback or back to the goalkeeper. He was punching the ball through the line. And at times, I think there was one he played through the lines and Dessers flicks it on and McCausland gets in behind. That is exactly what you want from someone in that role in our team. You want someone to take risks under pressure. So I agree with you again. I thought Conor Barron was superb up until that point. Once you go a man down, it's difficult for any player to stand out Rangers-wise. But yeah, I agree with you there.
Let's talk about the red card itself then. Wasn't long into the second half. I think it's Tom Lawrence boots the ball up in the air. It might have been a Dynamo Kyiv defender. It was around that same passage of play. Jefte goes up. Arms are down by his side. He's not raised them in any way. He's not even bent his arm, so his elbows kind of sticking out or anything like that. He goes up. The Dynamo Kyiv defender goes down holding his face. They did that quite a lot tonight. Especially around players they knew were on a yellow card, and the referee was buying that a lot as well, which is frustrating from our side. But never in a million years is that a yellow card. I don't know what the referee has seen. I think it's incredibly frustrating that in a game as big as this, a game that offers up so much money, I think for us, that it can be. It can be taken
away. That's a £4 million decision.
Yeah, it's a £4 million decision. Yeah, so I think the fact that it can be taken away from in such a manner, and it also brings up the question of VAR and whether VAR should be able to have a second look at second yellow cards and whether they're deemed to be that or not. What was your view of the situation? What was your view of the referee's decision? He seemed quite an officious referee. He seemed quite. Wasn't even willing to chat to a lot of the players. Was quite quick with the yellow cards on some occasions, and then held off from yellow cards and others that looked much more blatant. What did you? Let's go back to the decision itself. What did you make of it?
Oh, the decision's it's a joke, really. It is a joke. I mean, I think it's one of those ones where the referee has reacted to the player.
Yeah.
So the player goes down, he's holding his face, and he thinks there must have been something in that. Because if I'm right in saying, I don't think he gives the foul initially. The ball plays, and then he brings it back, and you can see with Jefte's reaction. He couldn't believe it. Right now, I know all players maybe in that situation would plead innocence.
Yeah.
But I think he's trying to say, look, I didn't raise my arms or anything. I've just jumped for the ball. That is all he does. He just jumps up. He gets above the defender. There's no flared elbow or anything like that, and the referee has just went with the reaction of the player. So. I just think it's a shocking decision. I said at the time, it was difficult to keep my emotions in at that point because I think we've all watched enough football now that that's very difficult to come back from. You know a decision like that is going to have a big impact on the game, and it has. And look, I think there's definitely points with this Rangers squad where we get a lot. There's a lot of frustration in the support. The quality, especially in forward areas, we sometimes don't think they deliver in big moments, and that's fair. But I think tonight's been taken away from them. That it's really out of their hands because I don't think Jefte, regardless of the first half, when you're looking at the challenges he was making, I think his first yellow is a yellow card, right? He's late, catches the guy in the top of the foot. But that one is just, it's just never ever a second yellow, and has ruined the tie. Two good teams, decent teams
I think
going at
it was two evenly matched teams.
Exactly.
We expected the Dynamo Kyiv to be of a really good standard. They were nowhere near the standard I expected them to be after the results in the previous leg. Even with their squad in the state that it's in at this moment in time, I thought we were still well worthy of the draw away from home. And then tonight, I thought we were, as I said, we were going from strength to strength, and we were going to go on and win the tie. And I felt like we had the quality to do that, and I felt like we had the approach to do that as well.
There's no way the referee is absolutely convinced there that Jefte's fouled him, because if you were, you would give it straight away, and he didn't. So that's one of those ones where it comes back to VAR. We could stand here for hours talking about VAR, but that is one of those ones where I would like the referee to make use of VAR, because if it was something blatant, say he's throwing an elbow or whatever, that's potentially a straight red, right?
Yeah.
So maybe talk to the officials and see. Am I completely certain that is a yellow card? I don't think he could be. I don't think there was enough in it. So that's the disappointing side, because, like I said before, he's ruined the tie.
Yeah.
And Rangers, it's just very, very difficult at that stage to come back into the game. And it's the same way I always say about playing with 10 men. I feel sorry for them because I know there was at times at point in that second half where the sport were getting frustrated. but it's very difficult to play with a man down.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not.
Cyril Dessers was having a go to support back.
Exactly.
But what we really needed Cyril Dessers to do was to hold the ball up.
Yes.
And he kept trying to lay it off first time. And I don't know if he didn't understand that's what he needs to do in that situation, or he was just struggling to get control of the ball.
I think it's more that he's probably struggling in that moment, because every time the ball is coming into him, he is surrounded by at least probably 3 Kyiv men. So any bad touch, the ball's getting nicked off him, and it probably is frustrating as a striker. And the support, I totally understand, it is very frustrating to watch as well. I think there was points where Cyril Dessers could have done better tonight with his first touch. I think that's completely fair. But I think it is very difficult in that second half to dominate a back four like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's only you up there. I think it's worth talking about Philippe Clement's changes as well, because look, I totally understand when you go down a man, it's not as simple. You've maybe got to sit with your coaching staff and think, how are we going to look at this? I'm not really sure how Tom Lawrence makes 80 minutes tonight. I don't understand the logic behind that decision. Now, he's pushed Diamondi out to the left-hand side and left Tom Lawrence in the middle. For me, I would have probably switched that round. I probably would have put Tom Lawrence out on the left-hand side, because I don't think he's...
Just 2 minutes before it, he'd made a run down the left-hand side, and fair enough, he tried to cross the ball with his left foot, but he doesn't really have a left foot to do that with. But he made the move that you're like, right, okay, at least he's comfortable in that position.
Exactly.
Diamondi did not look comfortable in any way whatsoever.
No, and I'm not expecting all players to be comfortable in positions, because once you're down to 10 men, you're going to have to fill in certain areas. I just think Diamondi is the type of player that could probably do something on his own. Could he beat 2 men and create a bit of space for us to progress up the park? I'm not sure Tom Lawrence is going to do that from deeper areas. And I'm also not sure when you're out of possession that Tom Lawrence is going to cover the ground. Yeah. Now, this might sound really harsh for the goal, but he comes into block and he kind of just gallops over the ball. He
doesn't put his body on the line.
Doesn't put his body on the line.
You'd expect players to do in that situation where you're up against it. And John Souttar did that a few times. He was very good, as we saw again. He was very good as a siege defender.
We saw the best of John Souttar in that second half.
When he went down to 10 men. I think the change I would make at that point when we went down to 10 men, there's argument you could make a couple of changes, but the change I would make was you take Lawrence off and you put Stelling on, and then you've got a midfield 3 of Barron, Stelling and Diomande. And then that's how you go forward, and you've still got a solid base of people that can go about, are good quality on the ball, put in solid effort, make the tackles, and you know they've got a wee bit in them to get us forward if we get the opportunity. And we did have a few opportunities as well when we went down to 10 men. It wasn't like it was backs against the wall and it was just...
A few times Dessers get into the box and just refuses to take the shot on. Yeah, there was opportunities for Rangers to go ahead, even the one where the ball comes to the edge of the box after some good play and Ridvan takes a strike, and unfortunately now he's injured now. That looks a bad one. So there were plenty of opportunities in that second half for Rangers to get back in it, but I just those substitutions again from Cologne. I understand they might come out and say, look, there's not much I can do in that situation, but I just don't see the logic.
She's a bit slow in the substitutions, I think, and I didn't see the logic in that first one.
Matondo coming on at 2-0 down, was it?
He was ready to come on at 1-0 down just to score the second goal. But it's a substitution, and we had a bit of discussion, who do you bring on? You probably bring on either one of Scott Wright or
someone that can carry the ball, because when you are deep and you're playing with a man down, you need people that can carry the ball. I'm not saying 50 yards, but people that can ride a challenge and break out. Dujon Sterling can do that. We've seen that. He is naturally a fullback. He's someone that can carry the ball and for big strides up the park, and I think he would have given you that from a central area as well, breaking play up and carrying the ball. We've seen Conor Barron do it at times as well. And then maybe you leave a Diamondi out on the left and you're hoping for him to link up with players out there. Look, Rangers had a lot to do tonight. I'm not going against the comments I made earlier that it was going to be very, very difficult for them. But I think it is fair to look at the manager and say, did you leave things for a wee bit too long? Could we made more of an impact in that second half with changes?
I think that being said, I thought up till they scored, we were doing well. We were coping with it as well as you probably could. We were restricting them to shooting from 30
You're under a lot
yards
of pressure, but like you said, they were taking shots from areas that you were happy for them to take shots from. They weren't really carving us open, and then of course the goal comes, which is a great finish. Maybe we are a wee bit slow to get out and block, so that's a wee bit unfortunate, but it is a good finish. Jack Butland's got no chance, and at that point it's very, very difficult to back in the game, and they punished us with the second. Yeah,
and so it finished 2-0 to Dynamo Kyiv. Rangers are straight into the Europa League group stage, don't get the €4 million £4 million, €4.8 million bounty that there was for getting to the next round. I had a fear anyway that if we were to get into the Champions League by some miracle as to what would await us when we got there, but you'd have €43 million in the back pocket. So
we've got a rebuild.
Yep.
We've got a rebuild to do. So that money would have been pivotal for us moving forward.
I think even the one step, like getting that extra £4 million in, it's the difference of one or two players. And
absolutely.
And in the place we are, where it's kind of one in, one out, you kind of it makes you a bit hamstrung in the transfer market, and it's going to be interesting to see how that's now approached in the coming days. There's a couple of weeks left of the transfer window. It's going to be interesting to see how that's approached.
Yeah, I think it's going to be even more difficult for us to do business now. Yeah. There's going to be a lot more emphasis on trying to move players out. Unfortunately, that Champions League money, okay, maybe it was going to be really difficult for us to get to the full Champions League this season. I appreciate that. But a £4 million parachute payment is quite a lot of money for us at this stage, especially when we are struggling to move players around. Like you said, that could have been enough to bring someone in that maybe just gives us a wee bit extra. Even then, if you get to the Champions League group stage, I'm not expecting Rangers to go out and start splashing the cash.
No.
We've seen that with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, right? We made it, and the club didn't go out and spend mad and spend lots of money. But
they gave it to Michael Beale instead.
Well, there you go. But what that would have given us moving forward, Clement is the long-term manager for us now. Yeah. Looks like Niels Koppen is here. That would have given the club a lot to use in the coming transfer windows. Maybe not this one, but it would have given us something to use in January.
It speeds up the plan, doesn't it?
It speeds up the rebuild.
Yeah.
And as a Rangers support, we want this club and this squad to be back where it should be, right? And challenging for trophies and challenging for that league title and winning the league consistently again. Yeah. That is what we have to strive for, and that money would have been huge for us. There's no point of us shying away from that. We can come into the ground tonight and go, oh, okay, well, we were never going to make Champions League anyway. Yeah, but you've got to go for it. It can't be that you just completely write it off. The club can't do that. This would be a really, really disappointing night for the club to go out, because there's no doubt about it that they would have been looking at this as a potential to try and push us on financially, and we've not been able to do it.
I think the frustrating thing is as well was it was a beatable team. It wasn't against a really top class side that are just going to beat quite a lot of teams around our level and are going to go walk into the Champions League and make a dent. It was against a very beatable team, and actually a team that I think we are better than, even in the state we're in, where we're struggling.
We've certainly played a lot better sides in Europe. Even Europa League level, we've played better sides. So it is disappointing to go out in this manner. Again, come back to the referee. It's a shocking decision, but unfortunately that's football. Sometimes that's the way it goes, and we've been on the wrong end of it tonight.
It is. So thank you very much, Ross, for joining us for this immediate post-match reaction. We've got quite a lot coming up on the TIA channel over the rest of the week. Kyle and the guys are back tomorrow night, which is Wednesday, and then we'll be back here at Hampden for Rangers versus St Johnstone at the joyful kick-off time of 5:45 PM on a Saturday, which is always great fun. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please do drop a like. Please do subscribe to the TII channel, whether that be on YouTube or on audio platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Means you don't miss out on any of the content that we're producing in and around Rangers games. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Until next time, goodbye.